We are continuing our breaking news here at 5 o'clock. History. Donald Trump is guilty on all 34 felony counts of falsifying business records related to a 2016 hush money payment to adult film star Stormy Daniels.
He will be sentenced, we learned, on July 11th, just days before he's expected to be formally nominated as the Republican presidential nominee. Donald Trump becomes now the first former president charged with a criminal offense, and he also becomes the first former president to be convicted.
Trump is charged with 34 counts of the same felony, falsifying business records with an intent to defraud or an intent to commit another crime or conceal a crime. In this case, prosecutors say Trump falsified business records to hide a $130,000 payment to adult film actress Stormy Daniels. The payment made shortly before the 2016 election to cover up an affair between Trump and Daniels.
And it was made by Trump lawyer and his personal lawyer and fixer Michael Cohen, who was then alleged to be reimbursed by Trump after the election. Prosecutors said that there were false entries made into the Trump organization's ledger to cover up the nature of that payment.
Prosecutors say Trump intentionally falsified documents to conceal his repayment of Cohen as payment for legal services. And after today's guilty verdict, sentencing could vary widely. It's up to the discretion of the judge. Most legal experts believe because Trump does not have a criminal record, it is unlikely he would be sentenced to actual time in prison.
But again, guilty on all counts. Want to check in with Jenna Barnes, who has been following this case very closely.
Yeah, the second day of jury deliberations looked like it was going to end without a verdict. The judge was set to release the jury for the day at 4:30 New York time, and it was minutes after that we got word there in fact was this verdict. That jury again found former President Donald Trump guilty on all 34 felony counts of falsifying business records in connection to hush money payments made during what prosecutors argued was a catch and kill scheme to bury stories about his extramarital affairs to influence the 2016 presidential election. Yesterday, the jurors had asked to rehear some testimony from key witnesses, and they asked the judge to reread about 30 pages of his instructions to them. They were specifically interested in what inferences could be drawn from the facts of the case. They heard all of that today. In all, they spent more than 11 hours deliberating over the course of 2 days before reaching this verdict at the end of a 6-week trial. The former president spoke outside the courtroom a short time ago, now a convicted felon.
It's a rigged trial, a disgrace. They wouldn't give us a venue change. We were at 5% or 6% in this district, in this area. This was a rigged, disgraceful trial. The real verdict is going to be November 5th by the people. And they know what happened here, and everybody knows what happened here.
It's important to note it was a jury of Trump's peers in Manhattan, agreed on by both the prosecutors and his defense team, that unanimously convicted Trump. Again, the judge has set his sentencing for July 11th. That's just a few days before the Republican National Convention, where Republicans plan to officially select him as the party's nominee for the 2024 election, guys.
All right, Jenna, thank you. The Biden-Harris campaign releasing a statement that says, in part, in New York today, we saw that no one is above the law. Today's verdict does not change the fact that the American people face a simple reality. There's still only one way to keep Donald Trump out of the Oval Office, at the ballot box. Convicted felon or not, Trump will be the Republican nominee for president. A second Trump turn means chaos, ripping away Americans' freedoms, and fomenting political violence, and the American people will reject it this November.
And Governor Pritzker sent out a statement that reads, "Justice has been served." After facing a jury of his peers, Donald Trump is exposed as the liar and fraud that he is. Trump evaded the law to deceive voters, and today the law caught up with him. Donald Trump is a racist, a homophobe, a grifter, and a threat to this country. He can now add one more title to his list, a felon. But let me be clear, Donald Trump will never be 47.
The Illinois GOP reacting today, saying in a statement, let's call this trial what it really is, a political prosecution, the likes of which occurs in banana republics, but not previously in these United States. Democrat activists, investigators, and prosecutors have relentlessly hounded President Trump for years. This weaponization of the judicial system has weakened our country here and in the eyes of the world, which I'm sure President Biden will savor while he vacations in Delaware as his handlers make critical decisions for the country.